Now that you've been through a lot of the training and you understand the concepts of OrientDB, it's time to get our hands dirty. Everyone knows that you don't truly learn a product until you get into it, work with it yourself, invent your own queries, manipulate some data on your own. So I'm going to show you a few tools that we do have in place to help you get to that point as quickly as possible. First, we'll start up OrientDB. I'm on the desktop right now and I have my OrientDB folder there. And I'll go to the bin and ./server.sh, and we'll just go straight into Studio, which is localhost 2480. And I have vehicle history graph here, a database. You can also get that by going to the import a public database, putting in your root credentials, and clicking the download button. This has data already built in. I'll go ahead and log in. And you can see we have in the Schema tab a bunch of records and relationships already set up for us in a model very similar to what we built in the last module. We'll go to the graph view and let's take a look at what we can do in here. We'll do a simple query, select from transaction, and it'll bring in the first 20 transactions. So each transaction, I've colored them and put an icon in here. You can style them however you want. But each transaction, we can inspect them here and you can see the price and the date. They each have 3 incoming edges. There's a person who bought the vehicle, there's the person who sold the vehicle, and there is the automobile that was purchased. So we can go ahead and you can see that it was Polly Fleming was the buyer, Albert Lamb was the seller, and the vehicle purchased was a blue automobile with this VIN. Now we can go through and we can start looking at it. What did Polly Fleming sell prior to this? She was also involved in 12677, which was a transaction, and that had a buyer of 136044, which is Catherine Herrera. And we can go there and we can see what else did Catherine sell, and we can start traversing through these long relationships and pull out vehicle history data. We can pull out purchasing habits or purchasing trends, and we can do a lot of interesting things. So let's clear this out, and we're going to go ahead into the Browse tab and take a look at some SQL queries. First, we'll just discover the data that we have. So we can select from make, and you'll see that we have different makes of automobiles. Now all of these queries, let's extend this out to a limit of 200. We also have models, which was taken from a CSV file that has interesting information on different automobile models. We can take a look at the actual automobile class. And from the automobile class, you can see that we have relationships into which model they are and relate those back and forth. Also, you can see the different purchase histories, some with just one and some with many purchases. Finally, we'll take a look at person. And each person, if we look at a larger list here, has either no purchases, no transactions, or they have both a buy and a sell or several purchases throughout. So I've kept it as random as possible. I've tried to build up a history with each automobile that progresses over time and the price decreases on each subsequent purchase. So that's a nice overview of the data. I'm going to clear the history here and we'll go ahead and we'll try and do some more advanced queries. One car I remember enjoying was the Eagle Talon. So we'll select from model where name equals Talon. And you can see we have 2 Eagle Talons. I'll take this one here and let's find out what make that is through a query. Select out is make from, and we'll just use that ID directly, number 16 2102. And of course you could do a subquery here and you can see we get our make. And we actually want to see the data, so we'll do an expand operation, and this will give us the record data from the make. So there's our Eagle record. Let's select from automobile, and I'm going to choose one here with a good amount of transactions. So we've got 17, 14, 26. We'll do a select, expand, and we'll expand out with the purchased edge from, and we'll take that ID 17, 14, 26, and this time we'll order by date descending. It's going to give us all the purchases of this automobile ordered by date. So you can see the dates are ordered. So this brought up the transactions and a vehicle purchase history. Let's go a bit further. Let's say we wanted to know all of the buyers involved in this. We could do an in bought and chain it from the out purchased. Use the same order. And now we have the buyer information. I would think there's a good possibility you would want to look at OrientDB working with larger data sets. So we do have a data generation project that works with this database. Let me just go ahead and clear this one out. We'll delete from V. And we'll delete from E. So let's go ahead and look at that data generation project. It's in my GitHub account. It's called Vehicle History Graph Gen. It's a Node application, so we'll grab the clone URL and we can go ahead to our terminal, create a new tab, and we can clone that. Actually, we'll do it on the desktop. So git clone, paste in the URL, that will download, and this assumes that you have Node and NPM on your machine. So we'll change directory into that directory. And we'll do an npm install, and that will grab all the needed modules, and then we can generate the data. I'll show you the project actually in Sublime Text. So there is an app.js file here that you can change the number of people, total models, and total automobiles that will be generated. And all you do is you just node app.js, and you can see that our data has been generated. I have a console.log in there for each vehicle that was started. We go back to our studio. We can select from person, and we'll do a count. And you can see now that we have 2,000 people. So between that generation project and the sample database, I think you'll be up and running with something that you can experiment with and learn a lot more about OrientDB.